This is the Chris Cross Show. Welcome back. I'm back. It's been about a month since I last filmed. Um, I think I filmed before or after the Super Bowl. I'm back. I took basically a whole February off. I'm kind of back to just kind of talk about, what's been going on with the world, just in case anybody cares, my opinion. Um, I'm back to basically talk about sports, talk about shoes, talk about all this other good stuff. I'm excited. Um, I hope you guys all enjoy. It might be a long episode, but I'll try to do some edits, try to only put the important information and stuff that matters to me. So let's start. All right, so let's start with this. I've been missing for a month. I haven't uploaded in a whole month. Um, and part of that is because busy schedule. um, it's never easy just kind of logging back in, um, filming a video. That takes a good hour or two to kind of film, edit, do whatever. But like I said, I'm back. I as a teacher, we're off for 3 weeks, so maybe 2 or 3 episodes will be uploaded in the meantime with those 3 weeks, just kind of give you a life update. um, which brings me to my topic, my first topic, the coronavirus. um, you know my feelings about it, because obviously this isn't the first like disease or virus that we've been through as a society. I think the last major one was Ebola or swine flu. I forget which one came, which one was the latest, but I remember swine flu in 2009 when it was in Mexico, and everyone talking about the end of the world, and it was just this big, big, big thing. That to me was a little weird, but nothing that we couldn't get through or survive. The H1N1, Ebola, I remember that being a big thing. Um, and yeah, I mean it's a serious thing, and obviously as a sports fanatic, sports being canceled for the past couple days, it's sucked because um, I can't watch anything. And typically, me being a big NBA fan, I usually don't watch a bunch of games October, November, December. I really start watching just random games January, February, March, around the playoff time, around when players start taking a little bit more serious. Typically before, I watch any team LeBron's in, I'll watch just solely those games. But, once January, February, March, April hit, I'll start watching a bunch of other random teams. Um, just because I'm getting back, just because I know it's going to be a long April, May, June, watching all those basketball games, so I kind of prep myself that way. But yeah, like I said, the coronavirus kind of cancels everything. It's kind of sad that everything's basically being canceled or closed because of it. Fast food restaurants, as far as I know, can't close, at least for the time being, because everybody likes to eat out, so I know I ate out today, so um, it was kind of a big deal. But like I said, I really can't say anything about it other than my school closed for 3 weeks. A bunch of other schools around the area, the local high school is closed for 3 weeks. So I mean, it's a serious thing, and only thing I can say is for people to kind of wash their hands, be very, very cautious on what they touch out in public. Today I was paying for parking, and the lady was like hand sanit like Clorox wiping the pay now thing, and she wiped it for me too, which was kind of nice. Nice lady, shout out to her. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I can't really speak on it much other than it's canceled sports and it sucks. I haven't been able to watch anything. I've basically been playing video games and on my phone, basically waiting for RBI Baseball 20 to come out on the iPhone. So I'll be looking forward to that, and that'll kind of make the next at least 3 weeks go quickly. Um, and yeah, I mean that's all I can really say is just kind of be cautious and just wash your hands and stuff. I know I need to listen to myself more as I speak about this, but hopefully it's all for the best. And Um, yeah, that ends this segment of kind of the coronavirus and what I've been doing these past couple weeks. All right, this brings it to my next segment. A little bit more on sports. Um, so the NBA is something that I love to watch. It's something that I pay close attention to, whether I watch every game or I just am usually using the app for like a good 2 3 hours every single day. Um, it sucks that it's canceled, but I think they did it best where they just suspended. Obviously, their season's close to playoffs, so it's kind of tricky whether you start the playoffs or you don't start the playoffs. In my opinion, is I think I wouldn't mind the season, whether it starts back up in April or May. I wouldn't mind watching the NBA up until like August, and then they start it up again in Christmas, or after the New Year, and have like a 66 game season or have like a 55 game season, and test that out because I know the NBA has been trying to shorten games up, add tournaments. In my opinion, I think mid-season tournaments are useless because all the good players are going to be like, well, just play the bench players, and then if we make it to the semifinals, finals, then we'll play, and we'll get the glamour for it. But it's a love hate with that. I know the Premier League does that, like like where they have like the FA Cup or something like that, or whatever that English Cup is, where the first through fourth division all play against each other, and then like the last like four games during the quarterfinals they'll start using their actual players, but they'll play like the subs and everything, like everything prior to that. So um I don't think the NBA should add a mid-season tournament. I think they should extend the season up until August, or see how the Olympics plays out. Because if the Olympics cancels or saves themselves till the winter, then I think that's perfect because you get the NBA season, like whether it's early August and then like 2 weeks later the Olympics starts or whatever. That'd be awesome. I think they should at least play like at least 10 more official games. Play like 78, 79 games this season. Play like 10 more official games because there are some teams that still are in the playoff hunt, um, and could really benefit off of that. I know some teams are like under 2 games, over 2 games. So it kind of depends on the schedule. Teams that are under 2 games, I think they should. I think every team should play the same amount of games, and I think everyone's at like game 65 or 66. Um, so at least playing 10 more games would benefit because I know at least for the West, um, they Memphis has like a 3 game lead over Sacramento, Portland, San Antonio, and it wouldn't do those teams justice if they would just straight up miss the playoffs instead of having a last chance at it. So I think they should at least extend it by 5 to 10 games. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 10, that being the max, and then just going straight into playoffs because they are going to be away for 30 days. So I mean, yes, teams are still practicing, still training, but nothing's like an actual NBA game. So just kind of give them 10 games to kind of get their feet back in. Maybe the stars might play 8, 9 games, and then kind of go jump into the playoffs. And the playoffs starting, maybe the first round have it be like a 5 game series, and then after that, conference semifinal make it like 5 7 games, and then obviously conference finals and finals make it a 7 game series. I think that'll shorten the playoffs by like maybe a week or two. If you look at it in total, stretching it out to 5 games. Those team, the rounds can be over in about a week and a half. So I think at least the first 2 rounds should be at least a 5 game series. Make it a little bit more exciting because when it's a 7 game series, teams are like, oh, we still got 3 4 more chances to kind of bring it back. But if it's a 5 game series, it's like, oh man, if we lose 3, we're out. So that's what I think. I obviously wouldn't mind it being extended all the way to August because typically, even though I like watching baseball, eh, you know, baseball it's a long 162 game season. I know it's all of summer, but there are just some games in June, in July, and August where just they're just dragged out. Where they play a team like 5 times or 10 times in a month, depending, who they're, depending their division or whatever. So it gets kind of boring. Some teams, like, like some baseball games are like 5-2 or 2-1, and it's just so dragged out that maybe, basketball competing with it would, maybe urge some players to, play better, so, to get more ratings or whatever. But that's just my opinion on, the NBA stretching out that long. And yeah, that's just my opinion. That's what I think the NBA should be extended to. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this segment. And next segment, I will be talking about something I tweeted about earlier, and that is me. I've had every pair of the low LeBrons, the LeBron signatures, the lows from 14 to 17. And I'm really excited to talk about it and talk about those shoes in general and kind of give you an insight on, why I like the lows better than the highs, in my opinion. So, just get excited for that. All right, I'm back, and I want to talk about the LeBron signature shoes, the lows. And first, let me get into this. Um, LeBron's shoes from like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, they were like heavy and not good looking, in my opinion. Um, I had a friend in high school who collected LeBron signature shoes, and then whenever I would see them in high school, I'd be like, "Whoa, those are his signature shoes! Like those aren't pretty." And my friend would tell me like they're really nice looking, like the designs are cool, they're kind of heavy, but it is what it is. And so, um, at least for me, at least in high school and midway through college, I really wasn't much of a shoe collector, and I still don't consider myself a shoe collector because I'm literally only collecting one like brand of shoes. It's like Nike LeBrons. I do like have like a couple pairs of like Nikes like in general just for like casual wear, but um, you know um, I just have mostly LeBrons, and so one thing I've noticed, and I noticed it today, I have the LeBron lows all the way up to the 17s. And I'm going to start off with the 13 lows because these were basically the first pair. Um, one of the first pair of LeBrons I've had, one of the first couple pairs. I think my first ever was the Soldier 9s, and then I went straight to the Witness ones, and then these, I think. I had these in 2017, beginning of summer 2017. They were really, really nice. I think these were my third pair of shoes um, of LeBron. And the 13 lows, like I tweeted about earlier, is they are nice casual wear shoes. I'm not going to show you the bottom because I've worn these to the max, to the point where there's like no traction left. Like it's just like straight. No traction, no nothing, no support. So these aren't really nice to hoop with now. I have hooped in them in the past. I do like the way they feel, the court feel. If I'm playing by myself, like if I'm just shooting hoops, they are awesome. But if I'm playing in a competitive game, I typically don't wear these. I'll wear my Soldier 11s for that. But these are really nice. They're nice for casual wear. At one point, they started hurting me here in the heel. I don't know the material that was here before, but it's a little hard, and it hurt me at one point. I think it was the other foot. But yeah, I have two pairs of these, both for casual wear. Nothing much to them, just to kind of casually wear. In my opinion, I think they're nice to just kind of put on with some shorts and a t-shirt in the summer, and just kind of wear them just to walk around. And yeah. And this brings me to the 14 lows, or people call them the 14 no's, because not a lot of people like this pair. I liked the American colors, the red, white, and blue and gold. Like the swoosh was gold, and I like that colorway more than this one. But I picked these because at the time I just felt that gray fit more with the joggers I would wear constantly in college. So I, kind of bought these to just kind of casually wear. I wasn't really much of a, didn't really want to hoop in these because I said, oh, I have my Soldier 11, so I don't really need a hoop in these. But I don't know. I just think these are pretty cool. I think they are Zoom pods right here. I'm not so exactly sure, but these are really nice. I like to just kind of casually wear them. I don't wear these a lot. I wore these to skateboard, and like the shoelace for the other one got ripped off for the other pair, so that's why I'm not showing the other pair. So these have been everywhere with me. I did wear these all the time in college just to kind of walk around when I was going to class or whatever. Real nice to just kind of casually wear. Again, I did say on Twitter that they are they're not the best. They're obviously not pretty looking. I don't know. I think the pretty lookingness just goes away with this. So yeah, but I mean, I really like these. I think they're comfortable. I think they're awesome, good to put on. So yeah, that's my opinion on those. Next one are the 15 lows, and probably my favorite pair of lows. Or yeah, because Flyknit, and they're just comfortable. I only have one pair, and I wish I would have gotten the Supernovas or um, the blue ones or the Oreo ones, or the red ones are really nice. The red and white, the red up here, white down here. Those are really nice. I bought these because when I was buying pairs, there was the black and gold, and I just thought that the gray would fit with everything. Again, I went back to gray, just like I did with the 14 lows. But the 15 lows are awesome. I love the stretchy Flyknit material. I think when you put them on, they're just nice. You feel the cushion automatically. I mean, these are like super worn out, like right here by the ball of the foot, like it's like highly worn out. I wore these all the time in summer of 2018. I wore them every single place I went in the summer, just because I loved how comfortable they are, and they're still very comfortable. You can still feel the cushion in them when I put them on. You know, I really wish I had more pairs of them, especially the white and red, and then the Supernova ones. So yeah, I mean, I highly recommend this pair to anyone if you still like, you know, want to buy a pair of LeBron lows. These are the ones I recommend the most, and the ones I recommend the second most currently are the 16 lows. The 16 lows surprisingly were extremely comfortable. You know, easy to put on because they got this stretchy mesh material. The reason why I got these is because of this, you know, Nike LBJ, Air LBJ. They have this down here. They're the Hyper Jades. I just love the colorway. You know, they're just a summer colorway. Obviously, they were more cleaner when I got them, and you know, I've worn them a couple times over the summer. Obviously, I worked at a preschool, so when I wore these, they were extremely comfortable, but you know, it is what it is. My dog bit some of the shoelace, so if you see some tape here, don't mind that. But yeah, these are extremely comfortable. I was playing basketball in these like about a month ago, and extremely great to play in a basketball court. The traction is like no other. I love them. I think they're great. Probably, you know, second favorite pair of LeBron of all time. I have 3 pairs of 16s. I have the Super Bronze and I have the Hot Lava black ones. You know, but yeah, before I show you the 17 lows, I want to talk about the Witness 4s. I have 2 pairs of Witness 4s. I really want another pair just to kind of, again, casually wear. The Witness 4s, I did play basketball in them one time, and I slipped and I twisted my ankle, so I'm not going to play basketball in them. But they are just comfortable, casual wear. Just like what I think of a lot of LeBron's new shoes are, is just more to kind of casually wear if you want to. You can get away with casually wearing it, and that's just my opinion. But the last but not least, is the LeBron 17 lows. They are the Looney Tunes Toon Squad. As you can see here, I'll show you guys. Yeah, the Toon Squad. I've worn these like 4 times maybe. Great wear. I think they're awesome. I just think they're amazing. Like to wear. I've only worn them a couple times, and every single time I've worn them, it's just like they're just so comfortable. The fur kind of kills it. But yeah, like I said, it comes with multiple lace colors. Like the I think the left shoe is blue, and the right one is, you know, red. I think these are awesome. At first, they were hard to put on, but once I kind of put them on like 4 or 5 times, This stretches up a little bit, which is nice. I think this stretches right here. It stretches up a little bit nice. I haven't really tied them. I still have them like under box tie. Extremely comfortable. And I think the LeBron 17 lows are meant more to be just kind of comfortable wear. For people who don't like the LeBron highs, which tend to weigh a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, that's my segment on my LeBrons. My little rant on my LeBron lows. I wish I had the 7 lows, but I think the 7 high tops are a lot better looking. But yeah, that's just my segment on those pairs of shoes. I will get a little bit more into just kind of the past month in the next segment. So yeah. All right. So the past month has been kind of crazy. I thought the month of February was just, it felt long. I mean, even though it was an extra day of February, so it kind of felt a little bit longer than a casual February. But the way I always do every one of my Februaries is, I follow it with the NBA All-Star break. Like, that week is like essentially a week off for me too, because it's like I don't really notice it. I always think of, February before the All-Star break and February after the All-Star break. February after the All-Star break is like that. It's done in like 2 days. And so yeah, so like I said, I took some time off to just kind of, do some stuff. I was doing a ton of grading, doing a lot of other stuff with classes, trying to be a better teacher in that perspective. But yeah, like I said, in the sports world, baseball started up again, spring training, NFL, a lot of talks. But yeah, like I said, it's been a crazy, month. And now we're literally halfway through with March. We're March 14th. Today's Pi Day, so shout out to Pi Day. If anybody who had a pie, shout out to them. But yeah, like I said, it was just kind of like a being off kind of month. I don't know. It was just like a lot of life events just happened. Nothing too bad, but like I said, just a lot of life events in general that just kind of distracted me from making videos. But I'm back and I'm not in school for 3 weeks, so at least for the time being it's 3 weeks. But yeah, we'll be off, and I'll probably have a ton of time to just kind of make videos, talk, and yeah. And so I have 2 more segments that I want to get into next. And I'll be right back with another segment. All right, so I want to get into this because I feel like I feel like I've had this a lot recently. Pizza. Best pizza chains, in my opinion. Pizza that I've had recently, pizza that I've had in my lifetime. We're obviously in Chicago, and Chicago parades themselves around deep dish pizza or whatever. So, yeah. So I want to talk about pizza. So my top 5 pizza chains, of all time for me. Number 5, Salerno's. And I say Salerno's because, it's, as a kid in, middle school, high school, I had it a ton. It was always $5. You get it for $5 and you get a Coke with it. So, it was great. Really underrated place, to kind of go. It's quick. They do it quickly. They do it efficiently. It's great. It's always great. And yeah, just shout out to Salerno's. Number 4, and I'm gonna go with this one, Pizza Hut. And this one just because of recently I've had Domino's a little bit more. So Pizza Hut, in my opinion, is in 4th because I don't know, like I'm just more attracted to the wings than I am to the pizza when I think of Pizza Hut. I think the wings are better Pizza Hut than most people would think. And I just think that, Pizza Hut pizza is like good, but it's but yeah. But anyways, this brings me to my next one. Domino's is actually number 3. And I say Domino's is number 3. And this one could have easily been 2 for me because I've had it recently and I've had the taste, and I don't know what it is with the pizza crust. they just add like the seasoning. It just tastes so good to the point where I just go like, oh my gosh, like Domino's. And I've had Domino's the past 2 weekends, so it's been really great. I mean, honestly, I just think the pizza's been better. I mean, their commercial with it's now it's made with real cheese. Like, what was it made with before? That's a question that I want to ask, and that's the question that I still want an answer to. And I really want an answer to that one. But yeah, like I said, Domino's, and this one's gonna surprise a lot of people. Sabaros, because I remember having it as a kid. Sometimes we'd order it, and it was just like one of those underrated pizzas where it's just like you don't really think about it when you're thinking about what you want on pizza, but it's good. I don't know. I like the plain cheese pizza. I've never had like any other flavor. I just had the plain cheese, and it's always been good. Now going into the next one, and number one, and I haven't had it in a long time, and I'll tell you guys why I haven't had it. Anthony's Pizza. As a child, loved Anthony's Pizza. $3 pizza with a big slice and a Coke, and an RC. It was always great. Like in high school, me and my friends would go there. We'd always talk about going to Anthony's. Always ordering it whenever we had a family party. And I just always thought it was underrated. And I haven't had it in about 2 to 3 years because one time we ordered it as a family. My dad went to go get all 6 single slices, and when he came back, obviously I had cheese. And when I opened my pizza, there was a dead cockroach in it. It was like a baby cockroach, and it's just one of those things where it's like, how do the people who make it not notice a cockroach landing in there? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the cockroach was in the oven and decided to just kind of sit there and try to eat something, and then got cooked. Who knows? Maybe that might have happened, or like I said, maybe somebody purposely put the cockroach there. But like I said, when you choose the pizza, you choose which slices you want, so you can visibly see it. And so, me, when I first got my pizza, I noticed it. So I don't know how anybody else. I don't know how the workers didn't notice. I don't know how my dad didn't notice. But anyways, I haven't been to Anthony's Pizza in a long time. I still give it my number one because it's always been like my pizza. Ever since I was young, always had Anthony's Pizza for whatever it was. But yeah, like I said. Well, anyways, I'm gonna close it out with my last segment, and it's top 5 MBA valuable players, in my opinion. My top 5 NBA most valuable players in general. Number 5, and a lot of people might hate me for this one, Damian Lillard, because you look at him and you go, who would Portland be without Damian Lillard? LaMarcus Aldridge left. What happens? Damian Lillard takes him to the playoffs every single year. Last year, led him to the conference finals. Went through Houston. Who did they go through? Went through Oklahoma, who wasn't easy. Went through Denver, who wasn't easy. And then, obviously got shrouded by Golden State. But they were up by 15 in every game against Golden State. Still lost. So they had potential, but they weren't great. So that's why I say Damian Lillard is number 5. Number 4, I'm going to say, is Ben Simmons, and this is because it was between Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, but Ben Simmons, I feel like, is a guy that you can play more with. I know the post is kind of dying out, so I can't really say Joel Embiid because he plays mostly by the post. He can do anything, but he's the best center in the league, but he's just not the valuable player. Like, I think Ben Simmons changed Philadelphia. I mean, Joel Embiid, when he was with Philadelphia the first time, before Ben Simmons, he played 31 games and got hurt. He's easily injury prone, so you can't really depend on him. But I think Ben Simmons, he made that Philadelphia team. Like, yes, Joel Embiid had a huge part to do with it, but Ben Simmons made that team. Ben Simmons is the reason why that team won 50 games 2 years in a row. Is the reason why, we all still trust the process. Even though Joel Embiid, his nickname is Trust the Process, or the process, because, I don't know. I mean, I just think that Ben Simmons has just that it factor to him, and I don't know. I just think he's amazing. I've always liked Ben Simmons. I followed him when he was in high school, so I always have amazing or tremendous praise for that guy. Number three, I'm gonna say is this one is Chris Paul. In high school, I loved Chris Paul. I loved the Lob City days with the Clippers. I've always loved Chris Paul because he was a small guy who was a good defender, who was always sneaky, who was just good in general. And I give him the number three MVP because you know Oklahoma City at the beginning of the year was given a 0.5% chance to make the playoffs. They are the fifth seed or the sixth seed, whichever one, and they have a better record in Houston. And Houston traded for Russell Westbrook, basically said, "Hey, we think Chris Paul's trash." And Chris Paul is leading this team like no one else. No other All Stars. I think what they tried to trade away, or they traded away Gallinari, Steven Adams, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Dennis Schroeder, and a bunch of players I can't name. Andre Robinson, what's wrong with him? I don't know. Chris Paul somehow managed to, be at a 40-win game pace. I think they are 40 or 41 wins. They could easily have won 50 games if the season wasn't canceled. And this is why I've always liked Chris Paul, is because he's just that type of controller of the game. He can control a game when it matters. And a lot of people blame them for not being able to go to conference finals. But you had Blake Griffin, you had DeAndre Jordan, who late in games you just can't depend on them. I mean, Chris Paul, he basically beat San Antonio in a 7-game series with that lucky shot. And I've always loved Chris Paul because he's always been tenacious. He's always been, I haven't really liked him recently because of the way the media's perceived him, and the way, I follow the media and I perceived him that way. But Chris Paul is way better than Russell Westbrook, because look what he's with Oklahoma City, and this is without Paul George. This is without a second All-Star. This is without anybody on that team. I mean, Steven Adams, he's great, but late in games you can't play him because you just can't. And so what he's doing is just amazing. And yeah, I just give Chris Paul the third most valuable player. Second one, and I'm gonna cringe when I say this, and I'm gonna give him some credit, is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I only say this because he's got shooters around him. I mean, they basically did what they did with LeBron, is just put Giannis, give him some space, and just put shooters around him. Because that's all he really needs, is when he's in trouble, passes it out. Obviously, he doesn't have the passing ability of LeBron, but he can pass it out. He can, just kind of facilitate. And that's why Milwaukee's been so successful, is because they have a couple ball handlers. They have Eric Bledsoe. They have Chris Middleton. They had Malcolm Brogdon, but they let him walk. And now he's lighting it up in Indiana. But yeah, I just think that, Giannis is a second most valuable player in the league. Number one, and you're obviously going to hate me for this, but it's LeBron James, because year 17, best record in the West. Everyone counted him out. We know how Anthony Davis has played late in games. LeBron's basically carried them in close games. 49-14. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you gave him shooters. He's facilitating. He's league high in assists. He's just a monster. And this is why LeBron's always been my favorite player, because he plays the right way. When they lost to Brooklyn, he was smothered in the paint. What did he do? He's not gonna be a player who's gonna be egocentric and just take that shot and get blocked. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna pass the open look, get a good look. And Anthony Davis had a good look. He just didn't make it. If Anthony Davis made that shot and they would have won the game, everyone would be talking about LeBron made the best play by passing it to an open Anthony Davis. That would have been the highlight. It would have been LeBron made the best play. But just because LeBron passed and Anthony Davis missed it, people say that wasn't the best play. That was the best play. You can tell LeBron, oh, just go up. DeAndre Jordan synced in. I forgot who was guarding LeBron, but they both came in, basically almost trapped him. LeBron just swings it out to Anthony Davis. He misses a shot. Oh, well. The biggest and best IQ of basketball, and in general. who's ever played the game. He next to Magic Johnson, best IQ because his court vision is just amazing. And you know, year 17, still doing what he's doing. I mean, you got to give the guy credit where credit's due, and that's why I think he's the number one valuable player in the league. Um, and you know, those are my top five. Um, I really hope you guys enjoyed Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Chris Paul, Giannis, and LeBron. You can argue with me. You can comment on the comment section below, but that's just who I think is the best player in the league. Or the best top, not best players in the league because that's a different category, but most valuable. Sorry, I should have edited that. But best player is different from most valuable players in the league. And that's what I was talking about. All right, as I close this show, I just kind of want to shout out to the Soul Brothers and Wear Testers for, you know, obviously my shoe segment. I love watching those guys and, you know, what their opinions on, you know, shoes. So I felt kind of inspired today to just kind of, you know, do like a little shoe segment. And also, you know, kind of just wishing everyone is hopefully safe in this time. I know you know, just don't panic. Do what you can. I know what I'm going to be doing for the next 3 weeks is just relaxing, playing video games, and just chilling. That's what I'm going to do for the next 3 weeks. I know for sure for me. And just kind of, you know, I'm closing out this one. I'll probably be back later this week, maybe earlier, just to kind of talk a little bit more about sports, about life, about anything. This is the Crisscross Show, so we're going to jump from topic to topic to topic. So it's not going to make sense in the long run. It's just kind of just me just everywhere. So thanks for watching. If you watched this far, remember, like, subscribe, everything. And yeah, see you next time.